making its way into Vietnam. The problem is this tropical storm is going to sit there for a while. Even with that being said, there is some good news for some places that have been hit by multiple typhoons previously this month. I'll go over all of this in this video. It's CBF Cyclone, Saturday, November 29th, 2025. Cyclonic storm Ditwa is currently a tropical storm equivalent storm with 40 mile an hour sustained winds. It is a bare minimum tropical storm, and it's not forecast to intensify anymore. It's actually forecast to dissipate by sometime tomorrow night, but it should avoid land, and then the actual outer rain bands, like up north of the actual center of the system, are actually moving into India, and it's raining where the rain bands are right now, so that's dangerous. And this isn't a fast-moving system. It's not a slow one either. It's more of a slower system, so there is a decent flooding threat with that storm. Unfortunately, already 123 fatalities with that storm have been confirmed. Tropical Depression 32W. This is actually the remnants of cyclonic storm Seinar, which made landfall in Indonesia, I believe. I think that's Indonesia, and then also affected Malaysia. Unfortunately, with this storm, already almost 600 fatalities. So, unfortunately, storms in this basin specifically, the North Indian Ocean, they usually cause mass fatalities, like hundreds and hundreds of them. The Western Pacific is also really bad with that. The word just doesn't really get out there when there's a storm coming, and then the preparations, I don't really know what goes on there. And then the coverage, like, for getting the information, it's like spotty, so it's a really rough place for there to be a tropical cyclone. Tropical storm Koto currently has 50 mile an hour sustained winds and is forecast to intensify a little further to 60 miles an hour before weakening and then hitting Vietnam as a remnant low on Tuesday or Wednesday. That likely will not be fully tropical by the time it hits, but still going to be very dangerous, especially with the outer bands first moving in, or at least some outer clouds, whether or not they bring rain. If we turn on radar, actually, I don't know if so there's light rain right now, but that rain will likely get heavier as the system moves closer. So that is something to watch out for, even though it's just light rain. That will sit there for a while. So, again, something to watch out for. When it's light rain, not much of a flooding concern quite yet. But still, for later, heavier rain bands, something to keep an eye out on. Alright, and for the Google AI forecast model, they show Koto strengthening a little more, not quite into a typhoon like they were previously saying. They show Ditwa weakening to a tropical depression. They've been saying that lately, but that hasn't happened. And then actually with this next storm that I've been tracking for the possibility of development and moving toward the Philippines, less of their model strings or model branches are saying that it will develop, so that might be a bit of good news. And then the ones that are saying it will develop are showing it staying weaker. So that's something to watch out for, but it's maybe looking a little better for the Philippines, which have already been hit by 2 typhoons this month, Kalmegi and Phuong Long. The forecast model, starting with the GFS, they can't go out too far right now. They're in a model run. They actually show this other system over here developing once it passes the Philippines. And then they show Koto kind of maintaining its intensity, and then Ditwa losing its intensity pretty quickly. And then the European forecast model, let me show you that. They might not, I'm going to show you an earlier forecast or an earlier model run. So that way I can go out a little further. They show Koto maintaining its intensity, if anything strengthening, and then weakening before hitting Vietnam. With Ditwa, they show the system almost making a landfall in India. We'll see if that happens. And then following that, they kind of show maybe a little tropical depression developing, moving toward Vietnam. So I'll be tracking all these systems, especially this potential one that could hit the Philippines and Vietnam very closely. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See ya.